Hey there, guys. Professor Bates here. So, wanted to talk to you a little bit about this short story essay. Not gonna lie, this is gonna be the toughest one to write, and I'm gonna go through a bunch of things here fairly quickly. Um, hopefully you'll have this video and you can play it back as you start writing and refer to stuff because I am gonna go kind of quick. Um, Let me see if I can get my desktop up here. Okay, I think I'm sharing now. Get rid of that. Well, okay. All right. So here I am on our webpage, and I'm going to scroll down to the assignment. Go all the way down to final draft short story research. We get that to open up. All right, and this is where we see all the instructions for this thing. Um, Here's the prompt. How can we see the life and faith of Flannery O'Connor in her two short stories, A Good Man is Hard to Find and Good Country People? All right, so you're going to have to read both of those stories and, mark it up, make some highlights, that kind of thing, really understand what's in the two stories. Then you're going to watch a short film that is in Blackboard about Flannery O'Connor's life. And then you're going to find a couple of articles that you can add to the mix. So you're going to have five sources for this particular project. Um, and A Good Man is Hard to Find is in your book. I believe it starts on 990. Good Country People is not in your book, but there is a link in Blackboard to the story. You're going to have to either download it, read it online. I would definitely keep a copy of it so you can refer to it, print it out would be even better. Um, then you're going to look at this biographical film just called Flannery O'Connor, and you'll get a quote from the film. And then you'll go onto the databases and find two additional sources about Flannery O'Connor's stories, and you're going to put a quote in there. And this is a research paper, so it's going to include documentation in MLA format. All that stuff has to be done correctly. All right, now, one thing I really recommend you guys think about doing is creating for yourself um, a nice place to kind of keep everything organized. That's what I've done here. I don't know how well you can see this, but I've just created myself a little folder here, and I've called it Short Story F. O'Connor. I copied the assignment and put it in there, so I don't have to keep looking at Blackboard. I've got a transcript of the movie, and I'll show you that in a minute, a written version of what the movie says. I've got Good Country People. I've got A Good Man's Hard to Find, the two stories. And I've got two articles that I found in the databases. So let's just kind of start with the first. Obviously, you can get to A Good Man's Hard to Find because that's in your book. That shouldn't be too tough, right? Just go to the right page, read it. Now, let's see if I can get back into Blackboard. All right. You'll notice a couple of things up here. One says Good Country People by Flannery O'Connor. You must read this to complete your research paper. All right, so when you click on that link, it's going to take you to a copy of the story. It's 19 pages long, so it's going to take you a little while to read it. That's where you'll get the second story, Good Country People, from that link. And again, I would download this and put it into a folder. That organization is really key here, guys. I got to say. Then you'll want to watch the movie. Flannery O'Connor's biofilm must use for the essay. You have to do it. Let's see if we can go to that. Now, the first time you log into it, you'll have to put in a username of Paris JC, all lowercase, And the password is amigos, plural. After that, I think it will do it for you. I click on it and there's my movie. Okay, so, the easiest thing probably is just to go ahead and watch the film. Sit through and watch it and take notes. That's one way to do it. And I think really the first time, that's exactly what I would do. Once you've watched it once, though, I would come over here and download the transcript. Okay. That way you don't have to keep going back to the movie to find a quote. You can go to the transcript. Much easier. Notice too, there's a button here for cite. Look at that. It gives you your MLA. Make sure this is on MLA, but there's your citation. That's a nice little shortcut. So that's where the movie is going to come from. All right. And you're going to need to get that. Get this toolbar out of the way. Okay. So we've got short story 1 in the book. Short story 2 is right here. And the film is right here. Okay. Now there's a bunch of information about how to use the PJC databases because you're going to need to find that as well. You're going to do that online. You don't have to go to the library. So let's take a look at how we do that. We're going to go to the main site here, just Paris Junior College, Student Services, Library Services. All right, that takes you to the PJC library. Now, because you guys are not on campus, you're going to use this link right here, databases off campus. Now, first time you log in, you're going to need to log in with the username and password. And I think it's the same one that you use to get into Blackboard. If you have any problems getting into that database, call the library. Text them, say, look, I can't get in. What's going on? Help me, help me. I mean, don't just not get in there. You've got to get in there to find some articles. Once you log into the database, you will see this. Get all this garbage out of the way. These are your databases. Now, the one I recommend that you use is called JSTOR, JSTOR. In my opinion, it's one of the best. When you click on JSTOR, you're going to get a title page. And you say, okay, I do want to proceed. And then you're going to search in the search box. Now, here's a real important point. You don't want to put in Flannery O'Connor's name, because if you do that, all you're going to get is biographical information about her. Well, you've already got that with the film. You don't need that. You want stuff that talks about these two stories. So let's just say that I read these two stories and I'm trying to figure out, where is Flannery O'Connor in these two stories? When I watched the film, I learned that she was a practicing Roman Catholic. She kept a Bible by her bed. She went to Mass every single day. This was a very religious lady, which is kind of weird when you think about it, because her stories are about murderers and people with weird sexual interests, and these aren't church people. So where is religion in these stories? Well, it's everywhere. So if you're going to say that I can see Flannery O'Connor in these two stories, because there are things that happen in these stories that have to do with the Christian religion, Catholicism, good, evil, all that kind of stuff. So what I want to put in here in my search term is religion in a good man is hard to find. Now make sure you spell it right, guys. I said hard to find. Find. You got to be real careful with your search terms. When I hit enter, it should give me some results. It gave me 246,000 results. Yay. And all you got to do is find 2 articles, right? So what you're going to want to do is look through these article titles and take a look at the summary at the beginning, okay? and see if it's an article that you want to use. Let's open up this one just because it's at the top. Give it a little time here. And there's my document. Okay. And I'm going to read that sucker and decide, is there a quote in there that has something to do with Flannery O'Connor and religion? If there is, I can use that, and I will use it. Now, remember, you got to get these articles somewhere that you can work with them. What I recommend is you download them. Download them to your computer, download them to a flash drive, whatever. You can also email them to yourself. That's nice. Don't forget, there may be a citation button that's going to save you a lot of time. Click on the citation button, find our MLA version of our citation, copy it. Yay, done. All right, now you're going to have to do that for a second article with good country people. All right, so let's say we've done all of that. Let's see if I can find my way back. Okay, so here is my folder that I've created of all my good stuff. If I forget what the assignment is, I can read about it. If I want to look at the transcript for the movie, I got it. It's offline. It's where I want it. And look at that. I've even highlighted some things that I can quote. Yay, highlighting. That's fantastic. Good country people. Got that sucker downloaded. And hopefully down here somewhere, I've got something highlighted that I'm going to use in my essay. Again, you may have to read on and get to the middle, the end, somewhere where it really helps you. But you literally can just highlight it, copy it, use it in your article or your essay. Same thing with Good Man's Hard to Find from the book. Now, here are my 2 journal articles that I downloaded. Let's look at them. All right, and this one's called Flannery O'Connor's Murderous Imagination. Southern Ladyhood in A Good Man's Hard to Find. It was written by Robert Rea in 2017. It got published in the Southwest Review. And, I'm just going to read his article. Now, I may not understand all of it, but I bet you I'm going to find something in here about religion and Flannery O'Connor. All right. That's what I'm looking for. I may have to go a little ways to find it. And of course, if I don't find what I'm looking for, I may have to get a different article. There's going to be a lot of things in here that you may or may not totally understand. But just remember what you're looking for. What is it you're saying about these stories that contain something to do with Flannery O'Connor? And let's talk about her life. You're going to read that or watch that movie, but she had a debilitating disease called lupus, which caused her to have to use crutches and eventually a wheelchair. Well, guess what? There are handicapped people in these stories. That obviously reflects back to her. If these people say anything about religion, that's something that works because she was a very religious woman. She was a Southerner. She was from Georgia. So things about the South. This one's talking a lot about Gone with the Wind, the movie. So if I was going to say that, hey, I can see her in these stories because they're about Southerners, they talk like Southerners, they're in the South. All that good stuff can be found. And, again, you're going to have to be a pretty observant. You're going to have to spend some time reading this stuff. Here it talks about the good man is hard to find, lets readers have it both ways. Even as we see the sham of the Old South, we see it miraculously reinvented as constructivism and not a reflection of traditional Southern values. Here's another one, talks about many people ground the end of the story in O'Connor's Catholic faith. Well, there you go. There's religion. And that's basically what I'm going to be saying in my essay. So what I would do, and this is just me, but I really find this to be very helpful, as you go through these articles and these stories, in this movie. I would get your works cited done before you even start writing. Let me show you why. All right, so this is a little template that I built where I'm going to write my essay, but I went ahead and did my works cited page. Now, the reason I did that is because as I'm writing this essay, I've got to use quotes from all 5 of these. I think I've actually got more than that. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. No, there's 5. This reminds me that I got to find something from Bakhtin. I got to find something from this film. I got to find something from this story. I got to find something from this story. And I got to find something from this article. I won't forget to do it. And when I get done writing my essay, yay, works cited is done. Okay. That's why I really recommend you get the works cited done first. Now, sometimes when you're looking at the articles, they may give you the works cited, and you can literally just copy and paste it. Other times, you may have to go back and create it from scratch. Just follow the MLA rules for works cited entries. Last thing I want to mention here, guys, notice that this is in alphabetical order. And what that means is the first letter has to be in alphabetical order. So B is at the top of the alphabet. F comes next. Now, what's weird about this one, notice this does not have an author because it's a film. All we have to work with is the title. And that F is going to go there. Now, this could be tricky. Look at this. We've got 2 entries that start with O'Connor Flannery, O'Connor Flannery. Which one do we put first? Well, we look at the next word after this. A, good man. A comes before G, so it's going to go on top. Lastly, we've got Thelma Shin's article with an S right down here. Now, guys, read my lips if you can see my little box here. You have got to indent the second, third, and fourth lines of each entry. These only have 2, but notice what I'm doing here. I'm starting flush left, and then I'm indenting the second line. That is really different than what we normally do. The reason we do this is because notice how much easier it is to see where one ends and one begins because of this hanging indent. That's what we call this weird business of works cited, call that a hanging indent. And guys, I got to tell you, on the last essay, I had a lot of people that didn't do hanging indents. Let me give you a little secret. If you try to indent the second line by hitting the tab key, that won't work. Because what that's going to do is it's going to move the top line as well. You don't want that. So what you're going to do is put your cursor right here and hit Control key, CTRL, plus tab key. Control tab. Then it will only move the second line. That may save you some work there. That's basically it, guys. I know that's a lot. I know it went fast, but you can hopefully look over that again. Bottom line, you've got to read these stories and figure out, how do we see any evidence of the lady who wrote them in the story? Well, to do that, you got to know what kind of lady she was. And I'm going to guess that you guys have never even heard of Flannery O'Connor. Don't feel bad, because I hadn't either until I went to grad school. But you've got to become an expert on her, and that's where that film comes in. You know, she was born in Georgia. She was raised a Catholic in the Protestant South. This was a time before equality and a lot of things came into the South. It was a very different place. A lot of things you can write about. Bottom line, start planning it. You're going to turn in your works cited first, I believe, to me. So you might as well go ahead and get that done. Get your research done. Get all your stuff in a basket. Then look at it. And then start thinking about your thesis. What can I say about these stories in the sense of they have some stamp on them from the lady who wrote them? And that can be religion, that can be where she's from, That can be the age they were written, the 1950s, um, the fact that she was handicapped, Catholic, lots of stuff there, guys. All right, so I know you can do it. Please don't wait too long, though. As you can see, it took me even just showing you a little while. It's going to take you a while to do this stuff. Good luck, and I look forward to seeing your essay.